Welcome back to Milk and Mummies, the podcast where we strip back the filters and talk honestly about motherhood, ambition, and everything in between. Today's guest is someone I'm so excited to chat to, actress, mother, Lainy Boyle. You may have seen her in Three Body Problem, Maternal, The Good Ship Murder, and on stage across the UK and beyond. She's also the co-owner of the Observatory Studios with her husband Nigel. She's passionate about letting people know you can have a career within the industry, no matter what stage you're at. We'll be diving into how she balances scripts and sleep schedules, her journey through pregnancy and performance, and what it really takes to keep the creative spark alive while raising a family. So grab your coffee, your cold cup of tea, and let's get into it. Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm all good. How are you?
Yeah, I am all right. Thank you very much. I am feeling the pangs of hunger, as I said before, but I'm okay. It's just now in this moment, they just notched up a gear. So
obviously.
Fab. Lainy, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm looking forward to diving into just, again, motherhood, acting, your world, balance, juggle, all that jazz, all that stuff.
All of it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to just get right into it.
Let's go.
For those who might not know, how did your journey into acting begin?
Wow. I mean, to be honest, I just always wanted to do it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I didn't come from that kind of background. I knew no one in it. I did a few plays and dance stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. And then, we'd go on holidays to Butlins and I'd see all the red coats and what have you. I'm like, I want to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Got chose for the school plays.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a bug. My mum and dad were all fine with it until it got to like after GCSEs. And I'm like, I want to go and do BTEC Performing Arts instead of A-levels. And that's when it all fell apart.
Okay.
But I was determined.
Yeah. How did they handle that space? What did they think?
They basically said, okay, as long as you do an A-level English.
Okay.
Because you could do that alongside the course as well. So I did an English Lit A-level alongside the BTEC. Failed the A-level. I didn't fail it. I got a D, so I was still in the mark. But I just wasn't interested. Actually, in hindsight now, I wish I'd paid so much more attention.
Really?
Yeah, I do. And I still remember those books.
Okay.
With fondness now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'm 16, 17. I'm at college.
Yeah.
I'm going to the pub. I've got a new boyfriend. Doing those extra classes.
Not the vibe. No, I hear you. And it's mad. I think I still remember my books and things from English, for sure. Especially the ones that really resonated with you, like you would do.
Yes. Yeah. And that's it. And now, obviously, I'm studying text all the time.
There we go.
And that's why I wish I'd paid more attention.
Yeah, I see.
But it was just the wrong point of
That was it.
I was always, it was because I was generally quite good at academic stuff. I just wanted to do the creative stuff. So
yeah, that was it. Do you remember your very first acting role?
it was Pinocchio when I was 6.
Hey, love it. Amazing.
That's my very first one.
Yeah.
That was the school play.
Yeah.
Professionally though, weirdly, I guess not, because you come out of drama school.
Yeah.
I guess it was probably TIE.
Okay.
And then fringe shows.
Yeah.
I was in a professional fringe show whilst I was still at drama school.
Okay.
The first one I went to 2 drama schools. The first one I went to was the Courtyard Theatre.
Okay.
And they ran a 1-year course, 2-year course, sorry. And every term you would actually have a show at the Fringe Theatre itself for 4 weeks. So you came out with a working Fringe CV anyway.
That's really good.
And then one Easter, I joined a little bit later because you could join every term.
Okay.
And most people joined in the September. I joined in the January, and all the September intake had gone off to do an exchange in Italy. And over the Easter holidays, I was just kind of there. All my mates were gone. I was just there. And they were doing a production of Coriolanus. And I was asked, would I do some of the roles? So in a weird way, that was then also my first
nice
professional show.
Brilliant. Fast forwarding English. It's going to be interesting this morning, I think. Damn it. You've worked across stage, screen, internationally, etc. What has been your most defining project so far?
I think, and it probably links to this. One of my first TV gigs was on Doctors.
Okay.
And I learned, I'd always been told it was a fast filming situation.
Yes.
And I hadn't done much screen at all.
Okay.
I'd done some short films and stuff, and I had one TV gig apart from this.
Yeah.
And that was fairly fast filming, but I was not prepared
For what
to do 19 pages in one afternoon.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I was in 17 of them.
Yeah.
And my son wouldn't take a bottle.
Okay.
So my husband had to come up, and my son was in the garden, and I was literally filming, go outside, feed, go back in. And they were absolutely amazing. The director, the production, everyone was stunning about it. But if they came out and I was feeding, they'd be like, take time.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind they're doing that many pages in one afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think that just gave me the confidence to go, okay, I can be a mum, I can do filming, I can actually remember my lines and get them out in a fast-paced environment. So for me, that kind of solidified I'd made all the right choices, if that makes sense.
Nice, yeah. That's a really gorgeous moment, actually. The Doctors, fast-paced, the pages that you get done, I think it's phenomenal practice and training, I think, for anyone, just to have to work at that pace all the time.
Horrible loss to the industry, that going. Yeah. It really is.
God. Yeah. I auditioned for it a few times. I was like, that was one show that I wanted to have on my CV, because it felt like such a staple and a rite of passage. I was just like,
Is that when I started out, it would have been The Bill?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Or Still Casualty.
Yeah,
you want those ones. You want those experiences.
For sure. So I loved auditioning for them, and it didn't go my way for whatever reason, but it was always fun. The feedback was always great. So I was just like, when I heard, I was just like, no, come on.
Just bang out of order.
Yeah. But again, there we go. Before becoming a parent, how did you envision balancing acting and family life?
So I just kind of thought it would happen. I'll be honest, before meeting my husband, I wasn't fussed about having kids.
Okay, yeah.
I was never the maternal type. I'd never ruled it out.
Yeah.
If in the back of my head, I thought if I met somebody that didn't want kids, it wouldn't necessarily have bothered me.
Okay. Did career have anything to do with that? Because we know the nature of our industry, and as if you're footloose and fancy free, supposedly there are, there's ample opportunity for you to make the most of, etc., networking, blah blah blah. But did that have anything to do with that thinking as well?
Not when I was younger, because like I said, I always wanted to do it, and I was never that fussed.
Okay.
It sounds awful to say that.
No, I do
love you kids. But yes, definitely once I got to sort of my mid-20s onwards, and the thought process of it might happen one day, and how on earth would I balance it?
Yeah.
It kind of almost more solidified my thought of I'm not that worried about it.
Okay.
Because I loved being in the industry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was giving up kids for the industry, because I already had that in me. But then I met my husband, and I knew that was it for me. It was me and him, and he was so family orientated and so desperately wanted kids. And I was like, I can see myself having kids with this man and it being okay.
Okay.
So that was then the quandary. Oh my God. So that's when the real sort of worry about it all set in. And we got married. And then we gave ourselves a year or so afterwards, which turned into probably a little bit longer. And then when we finally thought, right, it's now or never, because I was sort of mid-30s by this point, I hadn't really... I'd done lots of lovely things. I'd done lots of lovely theatre. I'd been travelling abroad with theatre. I had a few commercials under my belt, but I'd never really been seen for TV stuff. I hadn't progressed into like West End theatre or anything.
Yeah.
And I just kind of resigned myself to, I guess this is me. Once we do have kids, I'm probably going to sit back and just do something within the creative industry.
Okay.
Or get a job that earns us money, because he had he's always had quite a good successful run of TV work and what have you. So I just thought, well, I guess that's it for me. Never mind. And weirdly enough, it was the complete opposite. Having, not long after I had my eldest, Finian, I booked like 3 commercials in the space of 3 weeks of going back.
Love it.
Really bizarre. A couple of other things. Then I got my first TV gig. Then I got another one. Then I got and so he was my silver spoon, so to speak. I got the silver spoon when he was born.
No, I really get that. No, that's really nice. In a space where you thought, okay, maybe I'm winding down and things are going to pivot. And then actually, no, it's the same trajectory, but more intense. It ramped up even more. How did you find balancing that as a first-time mum or a new mum? And then now managing this influx of work that seems to be coming in a bit more? Like, how was that?
Yeah, it's a constant juggle. It's really weird. I often now get asked, how do we do it?
Yeah.
And I was like, just do. Just do. We do have a saying on our house, just keep smiling. That's about everything.
Okay.
But it's really, really prevalent. And I think one of the biggest things is whether or not you have children with someone or whether or not you do it on your own, whether or not you end up on your own with your children, it's your support network. Because, and not just, a babysitter on hand, it's that person that says, no, I'll give you the time to go and do it. I'll look after that person, that your child for you or your children. Because if my husband was, I have a lot of friends, many of them female, but some of them male as well. Once they do start having families, their partner, who's always sort of championed their or accepted their career, so to speak, but even champion, will suddenly go, well, now we've got kids, you can't go off on tour, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. And there are certain jobs now that we will turn down.
Okay.
Because just logistically, financially, more than anything, it's not worth it.
Fair.
But you do need that other person to be able to say, yeah, we'll make it work. You want to do that job? We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Whether that be your partner, whether that be your mother, your father, a sister, a friend, somebody with you. You have to have somebody.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can make it work.
Yeah, I really, really agree. I think a few weeks, maybe a month ago or so, I was working on a TV bit and everything had gone well audition-wise, etc. But I was like, okay, hey, it might come my way, it might not, whatever. And then everything was like, it's all yeses, amazing, but it all happened so quickly. And then I had this tiny amount of time to figure out childcare and this and the other. And because not that I didn't want the job, I actually really wanted it, but it was like, I just felt too close to the wire to kind of really know if it was going to go my way. So I didn't put anything in place. Normally I'll put feelers out to see who's around at certain times to have baby and kind of figure stuff out. But I didn't do that this time.
You don't want to use those tokens up if you end up not getting the job.
Precisely that. And then also normally as well, I would remind my agent, or my agent will say something about the fact that she has got a child, so she's going to need a bit more time to figure out X, Y, and Z. But this time we just didn't. I don't know why, we just didn't. And then the pressure I felt to get things in place before shooting was insane. That was the first time I'd really felt the real heat of juggle. And my partner Max was on a gig, and I think he had a couple of gigs internationally, so he wasn't going to be there. And even he wouldn't get back from the airport in time to pick her up from this or the other. So I was hot. Oh my goodness. And things that I thought were in place didn't work out. And then I buddied up with a friend of mine where she had a gig. Shout out to you, Annabelle. She's a singer, musician. She had a gig. So then I was with her kids and I stayed over. Then she was with my kid the next day. So we just had to do this. And then the other day I had to jump on another friend and get the girls together. So it was just it is not possible without support.
Yeah.
And I know some of us have the village already, or some of us are building the village as we go, and that in itself takes work as well. But this is a team sport, guys.
There's lots of relays, high fives, go, pass the baton.
It really, really, really is. So
that baton is a nappy bag.
Oh my gosh.
A list of instructions.
Oh my goodness. That was the first time that I was like, wow, this is real pressure. And now Zena's a bit older, so it's different where if she does come on set, I know she's gonna want to be involved because she's so used to that space. So now it's understanding, okay, which jobs can she actually really come on, and it kind of works well. But the support thing, I've just understood that in a very, very different way this time. And I'm definitely someone who likes to, I will get on with it, I'll get it done, I will do it. I'm that person.
This is it. I had a couple of international theatre things when I was younger, but the sort of you tend to know about those in advance, and you're rehearsing for weeks here usually, then you go away. That was all pre-kids. Then, like I said, after having children, most of my work, every commercial I filmed for 5 years was in Pinner.
Okay.
So where am I going? Pinner. Okay, yeah. So that was just the other side of London at the time. But then the last couple of years, people used to say, what happens if you and Nige book a job together? I thought it's never happened. You know, it doesn't happen that way. And the last couple of years, I swear to God, I a little while ago, last year, I booked a TV gig in Malta.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I finally get some time away, because he'd normally be away a lot and I'd be at home.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I've got a chunk of time away, a little bit of downtime to myself. It wasn't, it was full on filming, but mentally with the load of what's going on a day-to-day basis at home. And then he goes and books 3 weeks in Slovenia, where he leaves before I go to Malta and comes back after I come back.
Damn it,
so all of a sudden, I was having to arrange the childcare, the cover at our workplace, at our business, and sort all the house out and everything.
Yeah.
Because he's already gone. Yeah. So at that point, I'm literally spending 3 or 4 days trying to sort all of that out before I can go away. That, and there was a whole story behind all that in the end as well. And then come back, and then he comes back, and then again it happened just last month. He books a week in Prague on a commercial. And then I was penciled for one the week after, which I then booked. It was like, oh, you come back, I go. Okay, sorted. We're all right. No. They forgot to do a travel day.
Okay, great.
Which crossed over.
Yep. Great.
And my parents were away.
Okay, great.
So then it's like,
who's my call? Who's free? Who can I owe?
Yes. And we had a lovely, our eldest, his best mate, their family, they're really great. They're like, nice. Oh, we have one, we have 3. Bring them all. And they looked after them for the night and took them to school the next morning. I was like, thank you. Because otherwise, how do you make it work?
The juggle is. But
you have to be open. Your agent has to fight your corner as well. And you have to be open with the producers and the production companies you're working for.
Yeah.
Like you say, you can tell them and they might choose to ignore it or not have things in place to help you. But the more open you are in advance, the more accommodating most of them will be.
People can plan and figure out stuff. And even if it's a no, you then know how to navigate your space and what you can do. So the word for this season for me is juggle. And I've accepted that. But anyway, you wrote an article for Spotlight. For those of you who don't know, Spotlight is our casting hub. Jobs
like a
and thing. The directory. Things pop up, contacts, etc. can be found on that space. So with Spotlight, you wrote an article. And reading it, I remember you described castings just kind of like stopping when you were pregnant. I think you had that element of that. What did that feel like emotionally and professionally? What was that moment like for you?
That was when it really felt like the nail in the coffin of my career at the time. For the first few months, especially with your first pregnancy, didn't show that much. It changes in the following ones, but it didn't show that much. And I was able to get away with it a little bit longer. I told my agent early, who's, well, you know, when you're after the 12-week scan, told my agent, and he was great and really understanding. Nice. And I said, do we tell people yet when we go up for jobs? And he said, well, obviously I'll be mindful of the kind of jobs I submit you for, because if they're going to be very physically demanding in terms of acrobatics or, you know, harnesses you might have on a commercial or something like that for a special effects, that's probably not going to be great right now. And I said, that's fine. But your general stand there and smile and lift a product, who needs to know? So we held back a little bit. But then when I started showing, it was becoming a bit more obvious. We started to say, and
she's pregnant.
Almost within 2 weeks. And I know a lot of casting directors. I work in casting as a side hustle. And there was a couple that kept bringing me in a little bit whenever they thought it would still work. And you think, well, there's all these things where people are pregnant, but most TV shows or commercials or films, theatre, the story involves you being pregnant at some point, but not the whole way through.
That's a good way to put it. Okay.
So they don't always hire pregnant people.
No, I thought I'd be in my pregnancy bag. I was like, what? Yes. Nappies, this, pregnant mum, maternal thing. It was quiet.
It was dire. It just literally went overnight. And that's when it really set in. I thought, well, I guess I'm looking for a future admin job I can do half from home and still work around childcare for the future. Then something creative, but it's not going to be acting. I can go back to it when I'm in 20 years or whatever.
Older, what have you.
And I wrote it off, and it was disheartening.
Of course, just feeling shut out. Like, how do you even navigate that in between space? You want to work, you can work, but the space wasn't there.
It's like, that's it. You can work. and you want to work, and there's no reason for 90% of jobs that are out there that you can't work. You know, there are people, you've got Diane on Strictly at the moment. She's going to be about 6-7 months pregnant, I think, by the end of the show.
Oh, wow.
And she's a professional dancer. And she's carrying on, and and she'll know her own body. In the same way that we would have. We know our own bodies. We know whether or not we can work. And it was just really disheartening to just be written off. I was literally writing to call the midwife. I'm like, come on now. Come on.
I am the casting type.
You don't need
I am the casting type for this.
And got nothing. And you just go, oh, okay.
All right, prosthetic bump it is then for the rest of you. That's fine. I was, at the time, I think my last job that I did acting wise, I was I was just starting to show because costume had to figure out how to hide it. It wasn't a problem or an issue at all for anyone. But oh my gosh, I maybe like 4 or 5 months, I felt the baby move. I felt her move on set that time, and it was incredible. So everyone was like, oh my God, what does it feel like? It was so lovely. But yeah, after that job, there was nothing. Then there was a director that I worked with before based in Germany, and she was pushing me for a job, which was great. And for that particular role, she was like, oh my gosh, it's great that you're pregnant because that's a great addition to the character. But it didn't go my way. And then after that, it was just crickets. And I was like, I really thought there was a whole niche space for pregnant actors and working jobs. And
there's not.
Or at least at that time. It's only like 3 years ago, but yeah. Mad. Do you think the industry has evolved since then in how it supports expectant or new mums from what you've seen?
A little bit.
Okay. All right.
So I was first pregnant, it would be 10 years ago now because he's almost 10. And then again, 3 years later. And during that pregnancy, I did a theatre show at the Vaults.
Nice.
And one of the characters was supposed to be heavily pregnant going on maternity leave. And it was like a 4-night run at the Vaults.
Okay.
Which in hindsight, in the space we were in the backstage area, was literally like mould everywhere behind the curtain. And I'm thinking, oh God, either myself or my child are going to come out of this with lung issues. But the show itself, it was great. Like there was a call out, people kept sending me the message. I did the audition, I got the gig, and I just loved the fact that they were actively looking for somebody that was pregnant.
Got you. Okay.
And I had a great few weeks. I hadn't done theatre in years at that point, and I just absolutely loved it. And like I said, I have done a few jobs now where I've had to bring one of the babies to set.
Yeah.
And people are being more and more accommodating of it. Within theatre, I'm part of a Facebook group that's very much all mums that either have been or still in the industry. Nice. And there are slow things being put in place, but it is slow. There's still the talk of job sharing is still so... Filming, screen stuff, you can't really job share because you've got to be the same character. But in terms of theatre... There's a couple of job shares that are about, but it's so easily done and it makes so much sense. But the producers are still very hesitant on it, very hesitant. And they just go, oh, insurance, oh, money. And they just blow it off as if we don't have the budget for that.
Yeah.
But it's working in other places and it's not a huge budget change. Yeah. So there's no reason why it can't be pushed more. And it should be, because it's like any industry. You've got these women who are so experienced and have been stalwarts for years and can do the job and are professional. Why not keep them? Why not retain them?
No, it's true. As you said, experienced, professional, can do the job, want to do the job. All key things you want in an employee.
Yeah.
You know? And I have to say, motherhood, no, I'm being serious. Like, motherhood really does, it gives you a focus that you didn't have before. And I dare anyone to challenge me on this. You think you're focused, chuck a baby in the mix. You are now laser focused. So it's kind of like, in terms of, I guess, the type of, I don't use the word focus again, but in terms of a commitment or understanding that someone's got to work for this concentrated period of time, you're going to get the best out of that person.
Yes.
Because it definitely allows you to understand time and your use of time in a way that you may not have understood
100%,
before.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, and I get that that might not be the case for everyone, but typically, from what I've spoken to people, what I've seen and experienced myself, you are focused in a way that you weren't before because you know, this is what I've got and I have to nail it. And
100%.
yeah, not even the sense that you're putting so much pressure on yourself or anything like that. You're just sharpened in a certain way. So it's really strange where we can be seen as a negative in some situations or spaces when actually we would be the biggest positive or the biggest plus to your project or your team. Like it's just mad. Sorry, I was gonna say it. Like a friend of mine has a business now where she's like, since becoming a mum, she's like, I would only ever hire mums because I know how we work and what we do. And she has a team of mothers, and her business is fucking incredible. Like it's dope. So yeah, what were we going to say? So I was rambling on.
I was just going to say, but it is like when I was younger, you'd go on jobs and, you know, in between rehearsals or in between scenes, you'd be like, chatting to people. And I still do that. I still want to have the social aspect of it. It's a fun job.
Yeah.
You know, none of us went into this because we want to be bored.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's creative. There's something within you where you want to perform, you want to tell stories, you want to create, you don't want to sit in an office just staring at a computer screen all the time or something similar. So I still like that aspect of it. But now, like you say, when obviously I've learned my lines before I go on the day of the job. But then when I get there, I'm in my trailer concentrating even more on what's going to do. When I'm on set, I'm concentrating. And I do see either those who don't have children or especially those that are younger because they generally tend not to. They're like off crazy, like singing in the hook and all of that. And the parents are all like, oh, no, I've got to nail this right now because I've got to go home and I've got to do this and this and this and this. I can't spend another 3 days learning the next scene.
Yeah,
I'm going to have 3 hours if I'm going to have 3 minutes if I'm lucky to learn my next scene in a couple of days. So I've got to do all of this now, get home, I've got to do that. And then even in between, you're sitting there answering school emails. You're, like you say, you're hyper-focused on everything because you have to be.
And just touching on that a little bit more, and pulling back from the example I gave earlier, it's amazing how much of a day you have before your day starts. And like for the jobs that we do and the prep that's required for the characters that you're building and you're in like, it's where do you fit? You have to fit it in. You do fit it in. But to have a whole day before your day actually starts and then to become a different person, embody a different character, it's the cross, I'm doing this because it's like mental arithmetic, the crossover and switches that you have to do to make sure you are successful in what it is that you're trying to portray is again insanity. That was mad.
The craziest time we had was just so we had 2 years. Everybody had the best part of 2 years for COVID lockdown. Self-tapes became a thing, and then, or more of a thing, should I say? And just as everybody else was sort of starting to go out, you know, be freer. This sounds like an awful way for what I'm about to say, but my mother-in-law, she had dementia. She lived in Ireland, and she came to live with us literally January 2022.
Okay, yeah.
Because we bring her over every now and again if she was having a bit of a bad period. She'd stay with us for a few weeks. She loved being around the kids, but she always wanted to be home. That was her safe space, obviously. Yeah. And we were strict with her food. She didn't like that because she was diabetic as well. Yeah. And the diabetes would have a knock-on effect with the dementia, etc. So we'd be really strict with her food, get her sorted. She'd go home for a couple of months. And so we'd do this sort of like a few times a year.
Yeah.
And this particular time, because of COVID, and we hadn't been able to do it as much, and we hadn't been able to visit her. When she came to us, we'd seen there was a huge decline. Then we discovered some other things were going on. So we were already 5 of us in a 2-bed flat, and now there were 6 of us. And she slept in the living room. So we had Cora, my youngest, she was a baby, in with us in one bedroom. The boys, who would have been 5 and 2 at the time, were in their bedroom, and then she was sleeping. We had this big open plan living room where we'd do our self-tapes, and she would sleep there. And it got to a point, then we got help with a carer that would come in and physically take care of her because she didn't like us doing it so much for her. Like, we were happy to do it, but just that pride thing, you know, she'd prefer a stranger rather than us. So we had a carer that would come around at 7:30 every morning. So then we'd get self-tapes in. Too tired to do it at night, too much going on, too tired to do it at night. So what we'd have to do almost 2 or 3 times a week is the kids would wake up about 6. We'd get them up, feed them breakfast. She'd be dead asleep on this pull-out bed in the living room. And then we'd take them into our bedroom. Whoever had to do the tape would get in the shower whilst the other one's feeding the kids. Then at 6:30, the kids would go in the bedroom. We'd put Cora in the cot, the boys on the bed, put the TV on. Right, now it's time to be quiet. How many times that happened? We don't know. But like, there was enough space to just about get away with it if they were chatting and stuff. And then we'd have about half an hour to be able to bash out the self-tape before the carer would ring at 7:30 in the morning. To start getting his mum ready, and then we'd then have to get the kids ready for school and go to work and possibly go to an acting job. And that was our life for about 9 months. We would have that morning light that would stream through the window that we could do our tape in.
And that's it.
If you could call it that, the most awake our brains would be. And we just had that window.
And that was it. And you had to nail it in
you
that space.
had to nail it in that time, that space.
Parenthood is not for the weak. It's I tip my hat to our parents, and everybody else who's doing it has done it before, etc. But
creative parenthood is even crazier.
Yes, it is. That's a great way to even put that. Yes, creative parent. It's yes, it is. Taking it back to, you mentioned you'd taken your baby to set sometimes. I can imagine you also took baby to auditions.
Yeah,
You've taken
all
baby,
the time.
What did that look like day to day? I've done it, and I enjoy it really. People seem to vibe with it as well. But what was that like for you?
That was the one thing that was very accepting and welcoming from everybody. I think I was also quite lucky because when I had Finney, my eldest, I was already working in casting. I knew a lot of casting directors, and I knew a lot of the people at the studios. So for commercials where you're in and out, you might be going to maybe 2 or 3 in a day, especially back then. I knew a lot of people. They wanted. I'd get told off if I didn't bring them.
I get you. Same. Oh, is he not here today? No, but I'm here for the job to audition.
I'm here for just to have some downtime. Someone's got them.
Wow.
They'd be like, "Where are they?" Oh,
I know.
And I'm like, "Hi."
Well, I'm here though. You wanted to see me, remember? But no, it's very
and that's
sweet
the whole
when that
other
happens.
thing about becoming a parent, especially a mother, is people see you as so and so's mum instead of you. So those few moments where you did just get to be you, and people are like, "Where are they?" Like. But anyway, I was very lucky that I could take him to various casting studios. I worked out which studio I was going to as to whether or not I took like just the proper pushchair or whether I took the one where they'd be in a car seat you could take out and just carry that bit up and leave the frame downstairs. And I think I was very lucky that I felt comfortable doing it. And I remember going one time out to Carmel Cochrane's studio in West London, and I sent her a little picture as I was waiting downstairs. I knew she wasn't taking the casting that day, she was elsewhere. But I just said, "Oh, look who's come to visit the studio." And she said, "Can you do me a favour? Can you put that on social media and explain that it's okay?" Nice. And I'm trying to think, did she have... Yeah, I think she was a mum by that point as well. I'm trying to think age-wise now of her kids. But she wanted to let people know that it was okay. And I remember going to Brendan McNamara's as well. And there's me apologising as he's helping me down the stairs with the pushchair at the end. I'm going, "I'm really sorry, it's a recall. So I'm really sorry." He goes, "No, I would always rather you come if you have to bring your children or if you'd like to bring your children even. I'd rather you come because I want to see you. I've called you in. I want you to be here. And especially for a recall, I'd rather you attend and bring your child than cancel." And now we've taken over a casting studio as well. And it's my one thing if agents call up and say, "Oh, is it okay?" Or if even the casting directors or actors, whoever phones up, I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Let us know in advance in case the person on desk feels a bit uncomfortable." There's the odd person. I was like that when I was younger. Somebody go, "Here's a baby." I go,
"How do I hold
what do I do? Does it have an off button?" I wasn't comfortable around kids. But now I'm like, "Yeah, give me the baby. Give me another chance to hold a little baby before I have, mine are much bigger now." But I'd always like to just double check the person on the desk is okay looking after your child, or I can warn them and check with them. But 90% of the time there's other actors or actresses there as well that they're like, "I'll look after them."
100%. And that's always been my experience, which has been great. I kind of always, again, I'm the person having the kid, my baby, so I figured I will figure that space out. It's never going to be anybody else's responsibility. That's between myself and my partner. But the support that you do get has been great and welcomed.
Yeah.
And I think, at least on my side, it's very easy to kind of feel like, oh, I guess, well, that's where the industry is now. That's where it's sitting. So it's always important to me to understand what people are experiencing, whether they're more from a theatre background or an MT space or what musical theatre space or what have you, just to understand if that's also what they're seeing. I know that's not always necessarily the case, but it's always great hearing the casting houses or spaces, the casting directors who are championing this and letting it be know that it is fine, it's okay. Ask. If it can't work for whatever reason, they will say, but it's always worthwhile asking the question for sure. So that's really nice hearing.
Although saying that, my personal thing is if I'm doing something that has a lot of dialogue for commercials or any TV, film, theatre auditions, I would rather do what I can. I mean, my kids are in school now, so throughout most of the day it's okay. But once in a blue moon, if you've got very early or very late or school holiday casting, it's different. That's when I want to focus. That's when I need to focus.
I hear that.
Commercials, like I said, you're usually in and out quite quickly. A lot of the time it's improvisation. Or you might have a bit of script, but you're going to be free with it and it's a couple of lines, you can go in and do that. Sometimes my kids have been in the room with me. And they're sitting there cracking up at what's on screen and I'm like, shh. But the casting directors, they go along with it. Or, you know, they might just say, oh, you've got to be really quiet. And they go, okay. You know, the more they see you do tapes at home, I think helps as well.
Yeah, for sure. Zena won't let me do a job until she does her self-tape. She does an ident. And she has her lines that she says she's currently self-represented, or she depends if she wants to be repped by SDA before I start shooting. She does her profiles, and then, okay, mommy's filming now, and then she knows that's the thing. So it's very cute and endearing, at least for now. She's 3. She might change when she's like 6.
My 4-year-old the other day, I was taking, there was just a really nice light and she was just really chilled and happy and her hair was just kind of sitting right, you know, one of those days. And I just thought, I said to her, I was like, can I get a couple of photos of you? It was just one of those ones where, you know, you could frame it and it'd be really nice. And so she's just sitting there. I was like, give me a smile. And then she went, Mummy, this is like when you do your tapes, isn't it? And I said, oh, I guess so. She went, she calls it a photo. And she said, can you make a photo for me? I said, do you mean a photo? She's like, yeah. And I said, actually, do you mean a video? She said, yeah. I said, okay. So she heard me press record on the phone. And then she went, hello, my name is Lainy Boyle and I'm 4 years old. And I'm the mini one. And like I was like, you cheeky little monkey. She's basically copying what we do. But then she thought it was hilarious and giggling. And she keeps asking me to see it. She goes, can I see my tape, please?
Adorable. We love it. Earlier you mentioned that you also run a casting space. I'm not gonna ruin the name, but I'll put it in my head now. I don't know why I can't say OBV words, which is not true, but that's also what I'm thinking. So if you didn't know, Lainy and her husband co-run the Observatory Studios. Pressure.
See?
I know, but I don't know why I freak out about saying the Observatory every single time. Anyway, I'm so curious as to how that partnership came about. How do you balance that space with family life, the creative space? Just how do you manage that? How did it happen?
So, excuse me, years ago, we met working in a call centre. We've always worked, like we both come from very strong working background ethics, very, like I said, working class families. Neither of us had a single person in the industry. We always worked. And alongside the call centre, Nigel used to go to one called Nash Studios for commercial auditions all the time. And he noticed that there was always sometimes not somebody on desk, or the guy doing camera was sometimes be trying to come out to do desk, or there was always different desk staff. So he asked, you know, do you need somebody extra? So he got a couple of shifts, but then, like I said, like Nige had quite, you know, prolific TV career and lots of commercials, so he couldn't do the shifts anymore because he was getting all these auditions. So I took over the shifts. It was more money than the call centre. And then eventually, after being there a few months, I started to get asked, oh, can you take the sessions? And I remember going, they needed a session taken one day. They were short. And I was just like, and it was over the phone. And the guy, Luke, who ran the studio, was saying, it's like, yes, okay. And then I'd go in and he helped, you know, talk me through my first couple of sessions because he'd been doing it the whole time. So then I was session taking. Then I got a job at on the desk at the Observatory. It was run by somebody else back then. And I became the manager. We were on honeymoon and I was asked, would you be the manager? I was like, no, I want to be an actor. I don't want a full-time job. And then we thought, mortgage, which is what we're obviously going to be trying to get afterwards. And I ended up managing the Observatory for 3 years.
Okay.
Once we got the mortgage and we realised we could pay our bills, and it'd be the same if I went back freelance.
Got you.
I left, but I always kept in contact.
Okay.
And then and like I said, Nigel and I have worked everything. You know, during COVID, he retrained to be a sparky, an electrician's mate, because that was classed as an essential thing, and he wanted to make sure we were getting some sort of money throughout it. We've worked anywhere and everywhere you could possibly think of. But we always wanted our own business. And so many people said, well, you guys should open a casting studio. You guys should do it. And we're like, yeah, but you need capital. We don't have that. And then about a year and a half ago, the previous manager, she sent me a birthday message and said, you know, and I said, how are you? She's like, I'm thinking of retiring. Okay. I said, oh, if only Nigel and I won the lottery, we'd take it over. She said, well, let's talk.
Nice.
So, okay. And so we chatted, and we got a deal in place that meant that we could take it over without having like a huge chunk up front, and we worked it all out.
Amazing.
And so then all of a sudden, in the space of like a certain amount of time, we had a limited company. We just moved out of London and took on a central London business to learn how to run a limited company in Westminster all of a sudden, because we don't have enough going on with 3 kids and 2 acting careers. But it just gave us more of a, like you say, a focus to be able to get up in the morning and know where we're working in between acting jobs.
Okay.
I think we kind of got to the point where we needed that. We still do the odd thing if people ask, oh, could you teach here or do a job there or help on an audition panel or, you know, we'll still do those bits on the side if we can fit it around. Yeah, absolutely. Nigel does a lot of voiceover work and ADR and stuff. So yeah, we always find ways of earning money. But now we're also, juggling the business.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's long. It's hard. I feel like I've become that person where I am in front of a computer almost 24/7. Yeah. But I like to go in at least 2 or 3 days a week just to keep an eye on the place, see what needs updating. We've put a lot of processes in place.
Nice.
And I think what's been quite nice for me, this is probably purely an ego thing, I don't know, is being able to make the studio easier for actors.
Okay.
To attend. Just little things at the moment. There's a much bigger thing I want to roll out in the future. Yeah. But even they had this old PDF, you know, you go to these things, you fill out a million forms and you're like, trying to do that. Everyone's doing it on their phones these days. Yeah. No one can do it. It was really awkward, and so I went to Jotform. I knew a lot of other places was using that. That wasn't revolutionary. But it was little things like we created our headsheet, and then you've got the equity art deck. And half the questions are the exact same.
Yes, they are.
So I made sure that I created a document where you fill out your name in one part of the form, it fills it out on both forms for you.
Thank you.
Little thing.
And it makes the biggest difference, because sometimes you're filling in the same information over and over and over and say, but doesn't anyone want to save this? I'm sure it will save you time, we save us time, but it's the same thing, the repetition. So that it's a little thing, but it makes a big difference.
Tiny little things that we try. And then there's an older generation that come in that don't like doing that kind of stuff. So we try our utmost hardest to, if they want to give it a go, we'll let them. Okay. If they still can't, we'll offer a help and do it with them.
Got you. Okay.
And then if they're really getting upset for it, you don't want to be in a tears about a form before you go in for a casting. Yeah. So we've had sessions where, you know, we'll get a couple of us on the desk just so that we can ask the questions, put the information in, because we could print the forms off like we used to, but then the production company's like, no, we need it to be a green. We've signed up to a green agreement where we don't use paper, so we need them digitized. So we'd rather say, okay, well, we'll do this for you.
With it.
So whatever we can do to make actors happy when they come in the room. We've created upbeat playlists for people to listen to, ones without swear words for when kids are in for auditions. Just little things like that, and we just want to keep on that role, because especially these days where in-person auditions are so rare in comparison to what they were, people are more nervous than they ever used to be. And I know what that's like. Yeah. So I just want to make people chilled and calm when they come in as much as we can.
Yeah, I hear you. With you working on that side of casting, I suppose, do you have more contact with organizations like Parents in Performing Arts or Raising Films, anything like that? Is there I don't know, a kind of crossover or industry support in that space? I don't know if that's
No, not really.
Okay.
Parents in Performing Arts kind of launched when I was pregnant with Finian. So I went to their inaugural talk and I thought, this is great. This is really, really good. And they need all the funding and the help that they can get. And same with raising films. But we don't really have much
I just wondered.
to do from our point.
Yeah.
Maybe from casting director's side, potentially. But essentially what we're doing is we're just facilitating castings. I just want to try and make it a community space as much as possible as well.
Yeah.
But essentially, we have a business where we hire out rooms, we record the tapes and we give them back to other people. We're not involved in the casting process as such.
Okay.
We never know who gets cast after the effect. We just film the auditions and have a space where that can happen.
Okay. Really. I wondered if there was more. I mean, you just explained it, but I guess I wondered how I'm doing this, how connected organizations are, how, like, if there's a hub feel for you guys on that side, regardless of being behind the camera, but still supporting creatives and actors. I just wanted to
I think the only way we're able to do that is what I'm trying to do in terms of letting people know it's okay.
Got you. Okay.
You know, there's a few, like I said, WhatsApp groups, mums groups, and whenever somebody says, I've got this audition, I'm like, is it at the Observatory? Because if it is, you are more than welcome.
Yeah.
And tell everyone.
Fair. With some of the small changes that you're making at your space and how impactful that is being, how do you think productions could make small but impactful changes as well to support parents on set? Big question, but...
No, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest ones is just this age-old thing of lead time towards jobs.
Okay.
You know, everybody says, why do the casting directors only give us like 2 days? Yeah. It's not them. It's the production companies. Again, I'm talking a lot from a commercials point of view because that's the other side of it that I know more than TV and film and what have you. But they work on these campaigns for months and months and then they give the casting director 2 weeks to cast it before the shoot day. If you're lucky, sometimes it's 2 days. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, we need a casting. They're flying tomorrow. And you're like, what? Yeah. Because a lot of time they try to cast themselves, realise it's not working, they get somebody involved. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, it's just about giving actors time. And the thing is, that can apply to anyone. Like I said, we looked after my mother-in-law for a number of years, but especially for those 9 months, she was at home with us. Yeah. And we couldn't leave her for long periods of time. And it just so happened my husband got loads of jobs abroad or away at the time. And so I had the 3 kids and was looking after Rose and trying to juggle. I remember going to a wardrobe call and they kept me there for 4 hours for one outfit.
Yeah, right.
And I'm thinking, I've got to go home and give her meds. And I kept saying, I've got my mother-in-law at home and she needs her medication. And all it was, I'd done all the outfits,
taking the pictures,
and then the director arrived and they wanted us to do them again. Yeah. And then that's fine. They're like, and we were literally at the door. They said, the client have arrived now. I'm like, why can't they have all been here at the beginning? Yeah. Or why can't you show them the
pictures
now?
that you took? You took 50 pictures. Yeah. Show them the 50 pictures, please. No,
and they cut us from the commercial after that. And that's not, let's not get into that. But it's just that thing of, I mean, look, you're being paid for the time.
Yes, you are.
And that's another thing I'll always say when people just like, when they come to recalls and they go, I've got 10 minutes. I'm like, well, technically the reason you're getting money is because to be there for longer, you might be mix and match. So you've got to still have an allowance yourself. You can't sort of dictate everything in terms of, I've only got this. But the more information you give, the easier it is. But production companies, same thing for the commercial that I did in Prague a couple of weeks ago. I found out I was confirmed a week before I was due to fly. Okay. And the whole week I said, because my husband's already away and you've added on this day that we weren't expecting, and I don't have childcare at the moment, I need to know what time of the day you want me to fly out. I don't care about my return. I don't care what day I'm coming back, anything like that. I just need to know whether or not you definitely need me on the Sunday and what time, because I need to put childcare in place. Yeah. And they didn't tell me till 6 o'clock on the Friday. And I was just like, thank you. Yep. Okay, great. Okay.
So
it's just, about having that awareness. And again, even people without kids, they have jobs to survive in this world.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just about giving people a bit more time.
Please and thank you, please. We'll do the job, just more time.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to mothers trying to return to the creative industry after having kids?
Do it.
Yeah, that's my favourite thing. Everyone says do it. Yes.
Just do it. There's literally nothing to lose, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's your passion, if you want to perform, if you want to tell stories, if you want to dance, if whatever nature of the industry, whether it's directing, behind the scenes, whatever, if it's your passion, do it, because I'm suddenly getting emotional now. That's what your kids will see.
Yeah. I have no tissues, damn it.
I don't know why that suddenly made me really emotional. It's funny, I was literally having this conversation with somebody else earlier and they were getting emotional and it just hit me in my head. It's that thing of your kids become your life. They're your they're your be all and end all. They're your love. And you do get, like you say, a complete new focus for life. Thank you. You get a complete new focus for life.
Yeah.
Acting and performing, even if it is your passion, is no longer your main focus. It's no longer your main love. You have a whole nother. For somebody who never wanted kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand now that love that you can have when you do have your kids. But then if there is something else you still have within you, do it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Life's too short and there's so much rubbish in the world. You still have to do it in a healthy way. Like if you're somebody that does struggle with the rejection or the anxiety, I'm able to just, there's always those jobs that do get me, but most of the time I'm just like, okay, next. And actually, weirdly, when you do have that other focus, when you do have those children, that other focus in your life, those jobs that you don't get, it's easier to let go of them because it's not your main love anymore. It might be your second one, it might be a close second one, but it's not your main focus, it's not your main love. And you've got this little thing at home that might drive you absolutely insane. You might have numerous of them. But then they have that little achievement in life and they have, they come and give you that little cuddle and it doesn't matter if you didn't get the job, you get the next one. Just as long as you can financially survive.
Yeah. That too.
And you have the support that keeps you sane.
Yes, that too.
Then don't be afraid. And you can come back at any point and you can try it for a few months. If it's not you, go away again. Like performing will always be there. Creative industries, hopefully. She says that. Anyway. It will always be there in some form. People always want human connection. People always want human stories.
Yes. That's true.
Regardless of what technology is able to now do and create around you. But your kids seeing you enjoy yourself and have fun and come home. Yeah, the hours aren't family friendly most of the time. The precarious nature of it is not necessarily family friendly. But my husband's just done the first time he's ever done a kids show.
Oh, yeah.
And you see these actors say, it was really nice to do this film my kids could watch with me.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm sure. But we never really understood it until now. And they'll sit there and they're watching like, look at Daddy. Yeah. This is Daddy, That's and cute. It's nice. It's because most of the stuff we've done
not
outside
suitable
of
for children.
Commercials. Yeah. Not suitable for children.
Finally, how do you define success at this stage in your life as a mother and as an actress? I think you've touched on it just now really, but...
Yeah, just keep smiling. No,
as you say.
It's just about just being happy, trying to be as happy as you can. Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad that I have the support around me,
nice.
My friends, my family, most importantly, really my husband, to be able to carry on doing what I want to do in life.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to wrap it now because I don't want to make you cry anymore.
I don't know where this has come from. Hello, perimenopause. Oh, wow.
No. I value your honesty so much and just being open about how motherhood has impacted you and shaped you, and then also how it impacts and shapes how you see, work and move within the industry. I think that's so key. And this is just testament as to how much it all means to you and what goes into it, right? And how much it does impact us all so deeply, so emotionally as well. So no, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to give it a cuddle now. Cut it now. We're going to hug. If you'd like to follow Lainy's work, check her out on Instagram as Lainy Boyle. And to everyone listening, don't forget to subscribe, share the episode with a fellow creative mother, and just join me over on Instagram at Milk and Mummies Podcast for more unfiltered conversations. Until next time, keep creating, keep nurturing, and keep believing in your story.